Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, a chief content producer and writer of JTWJE.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. If you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and please subscribe. If you're listening to any of our audio platforms, please download this episode, more episodes, and please consider subscribing and leaving a 5-star rating. I would really appreciate it. I'm thrilled to welcome our latest guest. She is a singer-songwriter, and her music has caught the attention of media and Once to Watch and Stardust. As of this recording, she has over 3,400 YouTube subscribers, 39,600 Instagram followers, and almost 95,000 TikTok followers. So please help me welcome Maya Kuriel to the podcast.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Hi, Maya. I'm thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much for taking time to schedule to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, so Maya, when did you get interested in performing? How did that passion evolve and desire to pursue a career in the entertainment industry?
That's a really good question. I actually started singing when I was 4, so there's videos of me in like a little tiara and butterfly wings at 4 years old. I just loved to sing. And so I, grew up in a very musical household. My dad played guitar. He played Pink Floyd and Santana. So I grew up, in a very loving musical household, which I'm very grateful for. So, the love and the passion of singing came at a very young age. And then I started, playing and singing with other people, but I had a little bit of stage fright. So I would do these singing gigs, but I would be so scared to sing. My parents would even like put me on the spot and be like, our friends are over. Do you want to sing for them? And I would like cry. And it was just, the stage fright was definitely an issue. So I started to overcome that just by putting myself out there a little bit more. I did like an elementary school and a middle school talent show. And then, I started actually releasing music in 2020 because I was like, I'm over being scared of this, and it's not going to I'm not going to let it define me. So I overcame that stage fright, and that's honestly like the origin story of how I started performing. It was a rocky start, to be honest, because I had, that very severe stage fright, and I feel like, some people might be able to relate to that. So, but, we're here, and now I perform pretty regularly. And I don't cry before I go on stage, which is good.
It's also amazing. And the thing is, it's all about growth, because I was part of elementary, high school talent shows, 5th grade to 12th grade choir, and also 6th to 12th grade theater. And the thing is, yes, not a lot of people can stand out. Like, it's easier for some people to do like to hit a ball or to tackle somebody or to try to shoot a hoop or kick into a goal. But however, some people see like before, like singing or playing an instrument and performing in front of live people or speaking in front of people or delivering a monologue to like 200 to 300 people as really terrifying.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like, I mean, just in school when I was, presenting like a presentation, just public speaking was really scary for me too. And I was a pretty shy kid. And now I think the number one thing my friends say about me is that I'm very social. So it really has, I've flipped it on its head, which is incredible. And I've, really worked on putting myself out there because I never wanted that to hinder me from actually, like actually releasing music. So that's incredible that you also did theater and did talent shows and everything. That's awesome.
Thank you. And like the thing is, I'm glad to hear about because in our industry, we have to connect. It doesn't make sense for us to say, okay, I want to go on release a podcast. And then I wouldn't last too long if I'm celebrating 15 years next year as a blogger and interviewer. So it is thank you very much. It's like, the thing is, you have to be able to be approachable, but also at the same time, have confidence, but not to have an ego or not to be too like, I'm nervous speaking in front of people.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's incredible. You said 15 years? That's awesome.
Thank you.
So yeah, especially like you said, just to piggyback off of what you said, this industry is pretty demanding, especially if you want to like put yourself out there and release music or anything in the arts. So it's really important to just even, I mean, I still get nervous, of course, performing and get those jitters, and I feel like I'm gonna honestly throw up sometimes, but it's, that's all because I care a lot about, um, the performance of it all. So, but yeah, I'm glad to have overcome that part, because I knew that the passion was like overpowered that's really, really scared little girl. So, I was like, I need to figure this out so I can actually do what I love, which is that's the most important thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so I want to talk about the people that that inspired you, the singers, the songwriters, the musicians, the producers. So who are they? How did they inspire you, and how did they shape your sound?
That's a really good question. I feel like that is ever changing for me right now. I'm working on a new era. So, I released a leading single called Dead Weight. And then I have Alibi coming out on Friday. So for this new era, I would definitely say, Lady Gaga has always been a constant for me. I feel like I love her artist project. I think she puts her heart and her soul into everything that she does, and you can tell, it's very her. And then I would say probably another person would be Labyrinth. I love his production. I think he's like a genius. All of his productions very cinematic and beautiful and dark at the same time, and that's definitely kind of adjacent to what I'm trying to do right now, which is like play with the dark, a lot of dark pop, but also work on more ethereal stuff. And so playing around with like the dark and the light of everything, and Dead Weight is probably a really good example of that, which it's very beautiful song, but it's also, it's considered dark pop. So yeah, I think those two musicians are Lady Gaga and Labyrinth are two people that stand out to me right now as people that are very, very inspiring. Yeah.
I agree, especially I cannot get Abracadabra out of my head. It's such an incredible
Yes.
song. And then
Yes.
I was looking on social media, and all of a sudden I see Lady Gaga before me, and I believe it's Brazil. And that many people, probably 1 to 2 million people, just singing Abracadabra in unison.
Yes. Yes.
It's
That was incredible to see. I just saw that last night and I was like, I mean, that just proves obviously like everybody sees how special she is. And I also have been listening to the Mayhem album and like just top to bottom, I'm like, wow, this is so incredibly inspiring. She's so unapologetically herself, and I feel like I'm really coming into my sound, and I really am honestly like kind of locking into more tunnel vision. I'm not really trying to compare myself to other people's sound or, obviously I take inspiration from other people, but I used to try to almost copy other people's sound, because I didn't have my own. So when I first started in 2020, I was like, coming in with references into the studio and be like, I really want to make a song that sounds like this. And now I'm like, I want to make a song that sounds like me. So I think she's a really good inspiration in that way, is like, you can tell that it's all her. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we don't need we it's there's so many people say, oh, by the like when I get press releases all the time, there's always line to say for people who like Lady Gaga, and I'm like, I want to listen to your sound first to see if I like you or not. And
Mhm.
I gotta say this, I rather listen to have you and Lady Gaga on than a copycat of somebody.
Of course. No, of course. That's and there's a lot of that going on, I feel like right now. Which is like, I mean, that's fine, but I definitely want to, with my music, I want to make sure that nobody's commenting like, oh, this sounds exactly like this person, like her whole entire project sounds like this person. I'm like, no, I want to be in my own lane, and I want to, have my own sounds, and obviously take inspiration from other people production wise or writing wise or whatever, but still, come back to the center, which is just my own project. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And besides overcoming stage fright, what have been some of the other challenges that you face staying in our modern music industry and entertainment industry, and how have you overcome those obstacles?
um I think the number one thing is kind of what I just mentioned, which is the comparison aspect of the industry. I'm sure you can relate to this. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. Like, comparison really is a thief of joy sometimes. And I look at, my peers, and I used to be like, why don't I have that? Or why did they get booked for this? Or why are they, receiving X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. And I've really shifted my mindset to, again, really lock into the tunnel vision. I'm like, I am in charge of my own self, and I want to stay centered and stay humble and stay in this space where it's just me. And I always try to remind myself to come back to the music, because if I come back to the music every single time, I will feel fulfilled and satisfied, and I will feel like I'm on the right path. So I feel like comparison is really tough, especially being, in LA. I live in Los Angeles, live in Hollywood. So there's obviously a lot of creatives here, and everybody's kind of comparing themselves here, just in Los Angeles in general, not just with music. So I would say that. And then I would say the other thing I can think of is I've really had to learn to just do everything myself. I think I'm pretty self-sufficient, and I used to have the mindset of like, I need to get a manager, and I need them to have, I need them to figure it all out for me. And I think Chapel Roan say this. And I was like, I definitely, that resonates with me. Is I think she mentioned like, just do everything yourself. And I was like, I feel like I definitely am in that mindset now, where I'm like, just got to take it into my own hands. Even if I do actually have like a day-to-day manager, but I'm super self-sufficient. I do all the visuals, schedule all the sessions, schedule, photo shoots and video shoots and whatever I need to do, network on my own and stuff like that. So it is really like me running the show, and I'm proud of that. And I also think it's important for creatives to continue to stay, take the lead on their project, especially while you can. Because if, for example, tomorrow, if I were to sign a, major record label deal, I might not be in charge of my own visuals or music or sound even. So as I'm independent, I'm like, okay, I got to make sure that everything just gets done the way that I want to do it. And I think that's really empowering. So I think that's the two things that I would say.
I definitely agree with you, because when you mention that you're comparing yourself, it has been a back and forth battle between me and, like, because I see some of my colleagues, like my friends that Scott Yeager and Derek Kaczynski of Challenge Mania, and they were able to get this guest and that guest, and Tommy Daddario as well has been getting that guest and this guest, and like seeing some friends of mine as well, like and also call associates of mine, like, been able to get some high quality guests, and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I not getting it? Am I good enough? It's always been I just had my conversation with my Pierre Bacall of Goat Media. I mentioned that I've had some challenges getting some high profile names on here. And I get envious when I see colleagues of mine get that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I know I can relate with you on that.
Yeah, definitely. It really is something. And yeah, I think the main thing, the thing that really keeps me grounded with that is really bringing it back to my own craft, which is just the music and doing what I love to do. And genuinely, like, tomorrow, if I had nobody listening, or maybe like one or two people listening to my music, I think I'd be okay with that, because I love making music. And like, I'm sure you love having conversations and getting to know people and connecting with people. I think that's so important. And I feel like not a lot of people are able to really sit down and have a full-length conversation in this industry. So, everything's obviously like really fast paced, and I'm like, okay, let me just remember to keep my head on straight and remember that I love making music, and it doesn't matter who gets what. Because the other thing is, the bigger picture is, I'm sure some people are also maybe thinking that about me. Why did she get to do this? Or why did she get that? So I think it's just a lot of that, especially in Los Angeles, of course. So yeah, but I feel good about where I'm at right now, is where I just try to lock in and remember that it definitely is just that little girl's passion. That's what I love to do. So yeah.
Yeah. And absolutely. And like, I'm thinking of the music and I'm thinking you're in Los Angeles, the home of pop. And also there, but like, I also think of, like, for example, like, it's competitive. Yes, it's competitive there. It's probably being competitive in Nashville, the home of country music, or Atlanta with the home of trap and hop and hip hop or R&B, and same with New York. It's very competitive in that. And on top of that, I lived in New York from 2017, 2021, so I know about the hustle and everything. And like,
Yeah.
yes, it's important to be there and be seen. At the same time, it's like I'd rather be like my heroes, Regis Philbin and Barbara Walters, who had their careers up until their 80s. So
Yes.
instead of
Yes.
like having like it be like have like a where instead of crashing out and have a where are they now thing.
Yes. Oh, that's such a good point, because I think I've really realized that longevity is important in this industry, and it's something like I think a lot of people talk about like what they want for their artist project or where they see themselves, and I definitely see myself playing, huge shows, but I don't want to be, crashing out at, mid 20s versus having like a long lasting career and actually, being able to live off of my passion, which is honestly the goal. So I like how you said that, because that definitely crosses my mind a lot of the time. Where are you based right now?
I'm based in my hometown of Overland Park, Kansas.
Oh, amazing. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, cool.
And the thing is why I chose to go back to Kansas is because I have a family. My folks are getting older. I have two. I just welcomed my second niece earlier this year.
Oh my
So
gosh.
there's a lot of family time, and I'd rather be here to see everyone grow up than having to watch it from like New York or from LA.
That's so valid. That's kind of honestly the mindset that I'm in right now. I have family in Seattle, and obviously, like everybody's parents are getting older and people are growing up. And my brother's actually moving from Oregon back to Seattle after going to college. I'm like, wow, how long do I want to stay here? And um, you know, I love it here, but I'm like, that's definitely crossed my mind as well. So I definitely feel what you're saying, where you want to be close to your family and you want to spend that quality time with them.
Absolutely, absolutely. But however, we got to get back to our conversation, and especially when we're here talking about music, because we got to talk about some of your songs. Because you just mentioned Deadweight, and I have some news to share with you. As of this recording, it received over 53,000 Spotify streams,
I love that so much. That's so cool.
and it brought me on your radar as well.
Oh, incredible. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, Deadweight was the start of the new era, and fans have mentioned like something has shifted here. I feel it. Something has changed, which is really cool. And I think the main thing is just playing with the dark and the light, and it's so beautiful and haunting and unique and interesting and weird, and I love it so much. And I think the song definitely speaks for itself. So if anybody's listening, please go listen to Deadweight. You will not be disappointed.
Absolutely, 100%. And guys, after this, go check out my review on it on jakes.shake.com. So also, we got to talk about award season. It's now we're getting into numbers where we're seeing more than 5 figures. Now you're seeing 6 figures. So award season, as of this recording, has over 258,000 Spotify streams.
Yes, which is crazy. Award season is one of the like more unserious, funny songs that I've written. It's about kind of giving out awards to the past men in my life and kind of giving them, trophies based on their behavior, which is super fun. My coworker came up with the concept award season, which is actually how a lot of my songs come about. Is like we'll have a title concept first, which is interesting. I don't know if a lot of people do that, but I have a notes app with all the title names. And yeah, it's a very, very fun song. I'm very proud of it. I'm glad people like it. It's pretty niche, so I feel like people are like, oh wow, this is a really interesting concept. So it's super fun. I'm proud of that song.
It's a great song, and by the way, it could be your generation's version of "Take a Bow" from Rihanna.
Yeah, yes, I love that song so much. I love that you made that comparison. That song is incredible. I love that.
Awesome. Then and the next song I want to talk about is Victim Complex. I was just listening to that song before we got online, and it has over 368,000 Spotify streams.
Yes, that one definitely, I think, resonated with a lot of people. I feel like I've actually got a lot of new listeners from that song specifically. It's about an old friend of mine or an ex friend of mine that had kind of like a pretty severe victim complex. So it was a lot of like, the world is against me, everybody and everybody hates me. Obviously not a great mindset and space to be in, headspace to be in. But I wrote it about that because I think a lot of people probably have, people in their lives that think the world revolves around them and everything that's bad is because everybody hates them or whatever it is. So the whole entire song is about that. I feel good about it because I was very angry that day when I was writing it, and then I was able to put it in the song, and then I was kind of able to wrap it in a bow and send it off. And now I'm like, okay, I feel like I can breathe now that I've gotten all of that off my chest. And I think the really cool thing about that song is the fact that so many people were like, I have a person that I, sing this about. I scream this in my car, and I think about this person, and that's really special to me because the number one thing is for me is connecting with listeners and connecting with fans and feeling like we're sharing, this situation. And I think it's a great release. So yeah.
It's amazing too. And then we got to talk about Bittersweet. It's probably one of your biggest songs. 658,000. It's getting really close to 1 million.
Yes. Bittersweet was my third single, I think in 2020. So it's been a second. But Bittersweet will always kind of have a special place in my heart because this was the first time I'd gotten a taste of any sort of virality. So it was my third single. I don't think I was like prepared for a viral moment yet. But it went viral on TikTok, and then I immediately, like, as it was happening, saw those streams converting to Spotify. I was like, wow, there's 100 or 200 people listening to my song at this very moment. That's crazy. Obviously, I think that song specifically, I was still really trying to find my sound, and it was at that point where I mentioned like I was still trying to copy other people's sound, and I wasn't really like, I didn't know what I wanted yet. But I think that song is really fun. It's really beautiful. It's upbeat, and I love that people still listen to that song. It makes my heart happy.
And that's great to hear because you can always say, I love when people do that as well, because like, for example, they say, oh my God, we love your, like I have fans of Collabro from Britain's Got Talent. They say they still love my interview to this day. Or like I have people that said like, you have a certain name, and they say, or they put something in there like, no way you interview this person, or like, no way you like this, or no way that this person would visit your platform. But like to have someone that said like, see those views, to have that first note of virality, and like, and see those numbers go live.
Yeah,
There must be a sense of, it's always a sense of pride.
It definitely is. Yeah. It kind of like shook me. I was like, what do I do? What is the next step? And how do I, move forward? But I think, I was in awe that it could happen like that fast. And then I was like seeing it convert right away. And, I think it was crazy because it was like, it was like my third singles. I really truly didn't know what to do with that information. But I'm, like you mentioned, I'm very proud of it. And I think that it's a really, really cool moment. And I think it really goes to show like the power of social media. People will see a video and be like, wow, I need to go to Spotify or Apple Music to go stream this because I absolutely love what was presented to me. And I think that's really awesome.
Awesome. So I want to bring up Alibi. It's your latest single. It's coming out on it's coming out Friday. Friday. I believe it's the 9th. Sorry guys. I just had to do a count because math is not my strong suit. So how is that category? How does that song stand out in your discography or in this new era?
I think there's like a couple things about the song that stands out. I usually like to send my songs to my parents or a few, close friends before I release. And my dad actually mentioned, he was like, this is like the first time I've really been able to hear your voice without like crazy, kind of production around it. So the verses, when it releases, you'll hear like very stripped down. I think it's just bass in there and my voice. And it is some of my favorite vocals I've ever done. Like the vocal performance I feel like is very, very strong. And I think that's really cool. He's like, I can really hear you. And I think that it sounds so beautiful, because sometimes I feel like some of my songs are, you know, very radio and kind of overproduced, and there's lots of loud sounds. So sometimes they get drowned out. So I think that's really special. The other thing that I would say is it is actually my first love song, although it is very, very dark and twisted. It is still a love song. The hook is Baby, I'm Your Alibi. So it's all about like Bonnie and Clyde, lovers on the run, kind of how far you would go for the person that you love. Would you commit crimes? Would you break the law? Like it's all that visual. It was super, super interesting and super fun to write. We actually created like an alibi within the songs. So in the lyrics, you'll hear the alibi and like what we're going to say, the timestamp and everything like that. So it was a very cool song to write. I had 3 writers in that room with me, which is the most writers I've had on a song thus far. So yeah, I think there's a lot of really cool things about that song. And I'm really excited for it to release on Friday. I think people will resonate with it. It's very dark and twisted, but also a little sexy. And I truly really enjoyed writing it. I think it's a very, very strong follow-up for Deadweight.
And that's great to hear, because when I hear a dark romantic, I immediately go to Lana Del Rey. I immediately go to The Weeknd, because those two really know how to do dangerous love songs.
Yes, I love. Yeah, yes,
and I can definitely see you guys working together in the future. I definitely have those 2 names I would like to throw out to them to you.
Yes, that's incredible. I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
So besides Lana and The Weeknd, have you thought about other collaborations, like maybe other songwriters or producers and musicians, and how would they strengthen or enhance your sound?
As I mentioned, Labyrinth would be an incredible one for, you know, he does all of his own production and everything like that. And I feel like getting in the studio with him would be like a life-changing experience for me. I think other than that, producers I want to work with, Max Martin, obviously, like King of Pop. He is
And that's probably the
greatest.
I gotta say this. It's for me, if I have to put if I'm stuck on an island with an iPhone that has a lot of that, and also a huge solar battery, I would love to have, and the 4 songwriters I have are like Max Martin, Diane Warren, Desmond Child, and also probably David Guetta. I think I'll be fine.
That's incredible. I love the island reference. Yes, Max Martin is super, super talented. I agree. And I think the last one would be Ian Kirkpatrick. He's done a lot of obviously incredible pop for Sabrina and Dua Lipa, and you know, he's just such a genius. So all of those people that I mentioned are absolutely genius. I would say Lana, honestly, which you mentioned. I think she has an incredible project, and again, kind of like Gaga, has like a very, very distinct sound and look and visuals, and I think it's very admirable. So I'd love to meet her and sing with her, honestly.
Absolutely. So you guys are winding down our conversation. So what have been some of your favorite platforms to create content for on social media and to connect with your fans?
Instagram and TikTok for sure. Instagram, you can just type in my Kuriel, I'll pop up. So MAYAKURIEL. And then TikTok is the same thing. I'm very easily findable, which is good. I would say YouTube as well. I have some music videos up, and my YouTube comments are like my favorite thing to go through and read and respond. I would say probably my most active platform is Instagram and TikTok, though.
All right. So last question. Are you ready?
Yes.
All righty, Maya, where can they find your music? And if you're thinking about performing in live, where can they find information about that?
Spotify, my Kuriel once again. And then live shows actually will be on my Spotify. I don't have anything scheduled just yet, but we are looking to schedule out shows for this upcoming summer, this upcoming year. So Instagram, you'll see information about shows, then also Spotify as well.
Awesome. So, guys, have you missed an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast? Visit our channels on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Spreaker. Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Now, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. And want to find out what my take was on Maya's music? Visit the blog that started it all, jake-shake.com. Once again, jake-shake.com. Maya, it was such a privilege to welcome you, have you on my platform. Come back anytime.
Thank you, Jacob. It was so nice to speak to you. I loved our conversation, and I hope you have a good one.
You're so welcome. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, have a great one, everybody. Goodbye.